intimidating, like lining up next to the top names in the country. And it's always a battle, like the gun, it's the fastest start like ever. You have to sprint, otherwise you're gonna get pushed to the back. So it's really intense, but once you get into it and you're racing with all those people, it's just amazing. And being on the Northeast team gives you an immediate group of people to hang out with, so you get to meet people from your area.
Welcome to a Run On Culture podcast, featuring local runners and coaches helping us define a culture of success. Stay competitive by joining us at the Henderson Virtual 3200. You can register for free online at runsignup.com/Henderson32. Okay, we're here today with the Westchester Henderson girls varsity cross country and track team. And we are going to discuss with them their training, their culture, and what has made them successful over the last few years. If we could start out, just have everyone introduce themselves and maybe just share with us one thing about yourself that is running related and one thing that is outside of running. Why don't we start with Amanda?
I'm Amanda Kelly. I just started running full-time this year, but I've been running off and on with my parents. And I have a twin sister who's a swimmer.
And who are your parents?
My dad's my coach. It's Kevin Kelly and Anne-Marie Kelly.
I'm a junior at Henderson. This is also my first year running full-time. I just switched to cross country because I used to be a varsity soccer player.
All right. And what about one thing outside of running and sports?
I very dedicated to my academics, and I like to travel a lot and see my friends.
Let's go to Jenna.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I started running in 7th grade, and that's probably my favorite thing to do. I want to do it pretty much my whole life, and definitely in the future in college. Outside of running, I like to swim and hike and cook.
My favorite events are the 5K and the 400. And outside of running, I participate in a lot of theater, like in the community and at school.
How has running shaped you in high school, and how it's brought out your character and personality?
I'll start. So I changed school districts in 9th grade, so I didn't really know anybody going to high school, and I decided that I wanted to do sports, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was like, oh, I'll just run. Like, it seems easy enough. And I showed up to the first summer practice, and I completely died, and I was sore for a week, and I was like, Mom, I don't know if I want to run anymore. It's really hard. And she was like, no, you need to stick with it. And through that, I gained a lot of friends just by talking to girls on runs. And it really made me motivated and excited to go into high school, knowing people already, and gave me a core group of friends. So it was really helpful for me.
Running was really good to have transitioning into high school. Going in as a freshman, it gave you immediate friends in the summer, so you knew upperclassmen even before going into it. The girls showed me around the school in the summer, walked me around with my schedule, and it was great just knowing people going into it. And it just gives you an immediate friend group, which is awesome to have. It's definitely shaped my life by giving me a strict schedule, which helps me stay on top of everything. And it's definitely going to be a factor in where I go to college in the future.
Okay, what about Caroline? What about you?
Yeah, I would say that running, it takes a different type of dedication. And I've always been a dedicated person, but with running, just the people that I've met and this commitment that it takes, I'd say that the dedication there just really teaches you a lot of life skills that you can implement in college when you're on your own and have to kind of make your schedules on your own and work on everything you have to do by yourself instead of having other people to rely on. So the commitment there is really nice, and having a group of people that just share the same values as you, and it just gives you a nice outlet to just distress and just enjoy yourself.
Amanda, what do you think?
It helped me come out of my shell. When I first joined the team, I didn't really talk at all during the runs. I just run in the back, and they wouldn't really know that I was there. And it's really given me something to do. I feel a lot more motivated now, because I did a lot of sports before, but none of it just stuck. But as soon as I started running, I knew it was gonna stick.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the virtual racing kind of scene that's happening right now. We have a lot of people out there. Mile Splits put out a virtual racing program. Final Surge had one. And obviously, Coach Kelly and I have coordinated and developed the Henderson Invite 3,200 meter virtual race. Is that something that you're excited about? Are you looking forward to? How do you feel about the virtual races?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, of course, it's nowhere near as fun or exciting as being at the actual Henderson Invite running the 32. But it's so nice to use it as a motivator, to have something to train for. Because right now, it's hard, like, why am I doing this every day? But if you have the 32 to look forward to, I think that's going to be really fun and help motivate everyone.
Yeah, we're excited. Our group's been doing a lot of longer training, longer workouts. And so we're excited, like, given that we can't race, that this is like the next best thing and we can still try and get a good time in and like use each other to push each other and just like use it as another excuse to get a good time.
Now, Jenna and Amanda, you're both 3,200 meters kind of by nature. Carolyn and Liesl, are you both 800 runners, milers? How do you see yourself?
I would say I'm definitely more of a distance runner. I know Liesl's she's got those sprinting tendencies, but so the 3,200 was definitely going to be my focus for this outdoor season. So I'm looking forward to getting the opportunity to just try my best to get as close to a race as possible and just see what can come of it. And I'm excited to do it with hopefully Liesl and Amanda if we're able to get all together for it.
And are you adjusting the goal time based off of that? You can't get on a track, you're going to have to do it on the roads. How does that play into maybe what you're hoping to run for the virtual race?
I would say I'm keeping my goals in mind that I had previously for the track season, but in the back of my head, I know that it's definitely a different situation. So just trying to not put as much pressure on myself to try and reach those goals and know that just do the best that I can with the situation and whatever comes of it, just to be happy with the result.
What do you think, Jenna?
Yeah, it's not like the Henderson 3,200. The atmosphere is not the same. So I know it'll be really tough to get a PR close to that. But I'm going to try and do it on as flat of a road as possible, or even like the Pierce Middle School track. I think people are allowed on that. We'll see. But
that's cinders, right?
Yeah, there's no fence. But we'll see. So, yeah, I know I'm probably not going to get my best time possible, but I'm just going to give it everything I have and try to be close to a PR because I know my fitness is really good right now. I've been having good workouts and good runs, so I'm just going for the best time I can get.
Amanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about what does your training look like right now in quarantine and unable to meet with all of your teammates?
It's really different, but we're doing a lot more miles because we don't have like any big races coming up besides like the time trial. So we're just really getting a good base for cross country, just really pushing ourselves where we wouldn't usually during this season because we would be competing.
And Liesl, what kinds of workouts are the Henderson girls doing right now?
A lot of pickups, and we try and find like flat surfaces. So we've been going to Struble, and like the bottom loop at Stroud is really good, and just like really like getting those like faster pickups in is like really helping, and like doing a lot of reps of those.
And are they shorter pickups, like 30 seconds, a minute, or are they longer, like 3, 4 minute, 5 minute pickups?
It depends. Like yesterday we did 10 by 1 minute with 2 minute rest. And like, I can't speak for everyone, but I think we all felt really good doing it. And like, we all said, if we can do that again, like even more and faster and stuff, then we're going to be really in good shape for a mile.
And Caroline, when you think about the training right now, does it seem like it's similar to what you would be doing in cross country season or the summer, or does it still feel like track?
Yeah, so I would say it's definitely a mix, like an in-between, because For track, we would do less workouts, and cross country might do a little bit more that are longer. So we'll do a longer run on Thursdays, which feels like more of a cross country training. But on Saturdays, it'll be some shorter pickups, trying to work on some speed and stuff like that. So that reminds me a little bit more of track. And then on Tuesdays, we'll do another workout where it's kind of in between, like a middle distance one, just doing the best that you can with finding a flat surface and trying to keep it like a track workout. So I would definitely say that it's not only cross country, it's not only track, but maybe just an in between with kind of what the workouts might be and what the length of the runs are.
Now, Jenna, you mentioned the Henderson Invite as the 3,200. Over the last couple of years, that's really been a marquee event at the Henderson Invite. Last year, I think it saw 18 girls hit the District 1 qualifying standard. It saw 19 boys. Over the years, it's seen some of the best performances in the state in the 3,200. Would you say that's one of your favorite races of the year?
It definitely is. I like, the Henderson Invite's so big. There's so many people there. People come in from different places. There's always really good competition there, and it's really a good place to run a fast time. So it's definitely one of my favorite events, and it's at night, which I like to race at night, and I just think the atmosphere is really awesome. So it's definitely one of my favorites. I was looking forward to it.
What are some of your other favorite races throughout the year that you run at for Henderson?
Carlisle for cross country has definitely always been one of my favorites because I got to race against Taryn my first year, Marley the second year, so that's always really cool. Districts is always awesome. There's so many people there like lined up against the flags, and it's great atmosphere there too. And for track, the Henderson Invite is amazing. It's crazy to see how many people are there, so that's also one of my favorites.
What about you, Caroline?
I would say that track-wise, the Henderson Invite, just getting to race at your own school and under the lights would definitely be my favorite for track. And this year, I would say that district stuck out to me just for cross-country because that was my first real where there's something on the line for cross-country, and the course was nice. It was nice and big. You weren't repeating any sections that often, and it was filled with a lot of a crowd. So having that constant just cheering was definitely really nice, and having all your team around you working toward a common goal, just separate from the course, was definitely a great opportunity that I just stuck out in my mind.
Yeah, that district course is always one that produces some fast times and a lot of emotions as teams qualify for the state meet. And Henderson girls, you finished second in the district this year. You qualified for states. Was that you'd lost a lot of pieces the previous year. Was that a pretty big accomplishment? Did you feel pretty confident going into the district meet that you were going to qualify for states? How did that look like for you?
Yeah, we definitely. Oh, sorry, Lucy.
Oh, you're good, Jenny. Go ahead.
We definitely lost a lot of people. We lost 2 state medalists. So going into the season, it was a little uncertain, like what was going to happen, but we picked up 2 new amazing runners to fill their spots. So going into districts, we're really confident that we were going to make it to states, and we're very happy to come away with a second place finish.
Liesl, what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I was a little nervous before I knew Caroline and Amanda were going to join the team. I was like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to go to states maybe. Like there was a little more uncertainty, but once we started having a really good summer, and the first race, I think it was the Oakbourne Relays at Stetson, we did really good. And I was like, oh my gosh, this could be the year where we get top 5 at states again. And I was really excited. And when we got second place at districts, it was just so rewarding, knowing that we weren't losing that many seniors this year, too, again. But we have a lot of good freshmen coming up too, that are freshmen now that did track that look pretty promising for next year. So I'm excited for another great season.
Looking forward to next year really quick, you're bringing back a lot of pieces. You've got Jenna, you are obviously one of the best runners in the state. You've gone to NXN 2 years in a row, so you've got a low stick. What does the atmosphere heading into cross country next year look like? Is there a lot of confidence, excitement? Are your goals bigger this year? How does that feel?
Our goals are definitely bigger. We have a really deep bench this year, it looks like, so that's always exciting. Like, so if someone isn't feeling good, like, or is hurt, like, we have a lot of people that could replace them and like recover.
We definitely know that Coach Kelly likes to use the depth. In years past, he's sat some of the top kids at the district meet to rest them for the state meet, and that's paid off. So looking down that roster, having great depth is extremely important to being able to stay healthy and being able to run at a high level. Liesl, do you see Henderson being a state contender next year?
I think so. Yeah, we have like 3 really good people coming up that didn't do cross country this year that are next year. And like based off of the workouts we've been doing now, I think like all of us are seeing growth in ourselves too. And if we can like continue to do this over the summer and not let quarantine get the best of us, I think we're going to have a really good season.
So the next thing I want to go into is one of the inspirations for starting the podcast for me is a book from years and years ago, 2002, by John Napolitan. It's called Training Profiles of High School Runners. And your coach, Coach Kelly, was highlighted in the book for Ian Gottesfeld. And Ian Gottesfeld was a phenomenal runner back in 2002. Have you ever heard his name before?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay. So he was a state champion, an NXN or Foot Locker finalist, just a terrific runner. And this is what he said about Coach Kelly. He said, Kevin Kelly, a low-key, honest, straightforward coach who has lots of experience and is very knowledgeable. He is always in great shape. He either emails us the training or does the runs with us. He's very busy. He's a teacher, a dad, owns a running store, and he almost always does the workouts with us. Is that description of Coach Kelly, and Amanda, maybe you'll start us off being that he's your dad. Is that description still kind of hold true? Have things changed in those 18 years?
Not really. Like, he doesn't do all the workouts, but like he does most of them. And we go on runs once a week together, and he likes to pick the hilliest routes. Like, he still gets after it. So I don't think he's really changed that much. We don't have the running store anymore, though, but now we have the timing company, so it kind of like replaced it, I guess.
Sure. Caroline, what do you think? What's your impression?
I definitely would say that he's very involved, and you can just tell how passionate and how much he cares about each and every person on the team, whether you're the slowest person on the team or the fastest. He definitely just wants the best for you and is going to make sure that he is giving you all the resources that he can to make sure that you run your fastest. So it's definitely nice to know that he's just supporting you and wants to be involved and do the best that he can to set you up for success.
Absolutely. Liesl or Jenna, do you want to chime in there?
I just think we're super lucky to have a coach as qualified as Mr. Kelly to coach us. He's had so much experience, so much success, and it's really good to have a coach that I trust so I can just do what he says and know that he's doing the best he can for us.
Yeah, there's a lot about putting your trust in your coach and the ability to be coachable. And that starts with that belief in the coach, right? That they know what they're doing, that they're going to help you reach your goals, and not being scared that they might be leading you down the wrong path with workouts or whatnot. So I'm going to ask each of you kind of a question. We'll start out with Amanda, because we're transitioning from talking about Coach Kelly, and now we'll talk about him as your dad a little bit. What's it like having your dad as your coach, and how did he convince you to run track and cross country?
He didn't really convince me. Like, he wanted me to, and I knew I was going to run track. So I did track, but I didn't do it because of him. And then I didn't do cross country. I didn't really want to do cross country, but then like I just fell in love with like the team and like the whole like running thing. And so I would say it was more the team that convinced me to run, not him personally.
And how do you feel with him being your coach? Do you like having your dad as your coach?
Yeah, I like it. I always know what the workouts are beforehand, so that's nice.
Does he consult you about the workouts at all?
No, not really. I wish. Sometimes they're really hard.
Yeah, I remember, I ran for your dad back in college, and when you were talking about the hilly runs earlier, I always remember going up the hills. That's when he would ask the hardest questions, is when we were running up a really steep hill. All right, let's go over to Jenna now. Jenna, you've gone to NXN now twice, and that's a pretty big deal. They fly you out there. You kind of get the royal treatment. Could you maybe describe that experience for us and what it's like to run at the national championship?
NXN is definitely the best experience of my life. Going my freshman year, going into regionals, I didn't really think I had a shot, but Mr. Kelly was like, so you're probably going to be definitely top 5. I think you could be like top 3 or something. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to make it. So then when I did, it was a big surprise. And just going there, it was amazing to meet all the athletes that like I see on Liesl all the time, winning all these big races, and like they're there in person. The experience is so great. You get to meet so many professional athletes, and it's really fun. And then just racing on in that amazing group of people is pretty intimidating, like lining up next to the top names in the country. And it's always a battle, like the gun, it's the fastest start like ever. You have to sprint, otherwise you're gonna get pushed to the back. So it's really intense, but once you get into it and you're racing with all those people, it's just amazing. And being on the Northeast team gives you an immediate group of people to hang out with, so you get to meet people from your area as well as people from all over the country, and it's nice to have your own little team, even if you're going as an individual.
And one of the highlights for the team in 2015 when we went out was the gear and the setup. What's all that like? What's that, getting all that and that experience like?
The gear up is pretty awesome. They bring you into this big room. They're like playing music. Then behind the curtain, they have a locker with your name on it, and then all the gear. And it's just so cool. It feels so professional. Like you feel like an actual like professional athlete for a few minutes, and it's awesome. And just to have all that gear as like a reward for all the hard work that you've put in, it's just so cool.
Definitely. All right, Liesl, how do you balance running with school? And I know you said you're pretty active outside of that also. How do you do everything that you're doing?
It is so fun. So like I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love like doing running and theater at the same time. This winter was like one of my biggest challenges though, because I was in the school play and I was the lead. So I'd have rehearsal like 1 to 2 times a day with like a 2-hour break in between, which I would like go to the Y and do my run if it was dark or run outside. And I like missed a lot of practice, but I tried to make it to every meet. And like, unfortunately I couldn't run at states because it was the weekend before the show. But I got to the opportunity to run at like all of the meets. And I like PR'd in the mile, which is something I never thought I would do, like not going to practice a lot. And it was just a really good winter for me.
That's tough. I mean, to miss the state meet, but also to be the lead in the play is a pretty big deal. That's exciting that you had that opportunity to go along with the running and be able to kind of be as balanced as you are. All right. And so, Caroline, tell us about your switch from soccer to running. It's a kind of a switch that a lot of people make. But for you were a varsity soccer player, right? That's a pretty big switch to give up being a varsity soccer player to become a runner. So maybe walk us through that.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I ended up making varsity for soccer. So just looking to my future, I was like, okay, this will be cool, 4 years on the team. And then I started running indoor track and then continued to outdoor. And I just fell in love with running. And my sophomore year, I was on varsity again. And I was thinking that I was playing travel too. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll play soccer in college. But that spring season, just having Mr. Kelly as a coach, he was in my ear and he was like, are you going to win a state championship for soccer? Because you could for cross country. And I was like, well, we're not going to for soccer. So my original plan was to do soccer and running. but then I knew that I would just be stretching myself too thin. And one night I just realized, I was like, I want to be running. I know that that's what I like. So coming onto it, it was not hard at all. I knew all the girls obviously from running track, and I just had that love for running, and I haven't looked back since. And I just love it so much now, and know that I want it to be just a huge part of my future. And I have Mr. Kelly to thank for that, because he really just got me to love running more than I ever thought that I could.
And how important are the girls in this podcast with us to that decision?
Oh, they were definitely one of the number one factors. I don't run with Jenna that often because obviously she's really fast, but just having people like Jenna, Liesl, and Amanda, we can all relate to each other, knowing just the pain that we go through and the dedication and commitment we all have. And we all share the common goal of wanting that success for our team. And having people that you can just relate to that much just really makes you feel comfortable.
Now, Jenna, going back to you for a second, let's talk a little bit about next year. It's going to be your junior year. What goals have you set for yourself going into, which is going to be a pretty big year for recruiting and choosing a school?
Yeah, definitely. I think junior year is probably the most important year for colleges. I can start talking to colleges pretty soon. And I have some pretty big goals. Last year, my cross-country season wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. Districts, I was hoping to get a little faster time, so I'd love to get the meet record at districts. States, I came in third last year against some really tough girls, so I'd like to challenge them again this year and hopefully come away with another state title. And then at NXN, last year, again, I didn't think I had my best race there, so my main goal this season is probably be All-American at NXN.
And have you been training more? Has your volume, your mileage gone up? Are you running workouts faster? What kind of development have you made in your training to kind of help you reach those goals? Yeah,
so definitely over the indoor track season, our long runs got longer. My workouts got faster. I moved up a running group, so now I'm running with the faster group. So my times have definitely been improving. I'm just going to continue that, probably up the mileage. I've been upping the mileage over this quarantine because we don't have any meets coming up, so that will continue throughout the summer. So I think I'm going to have a really good base. And I've also been working on my speed a little more because that's definitely my weakest point. Always get out kicked in literally every race. So we're working on that, and I think that'll help me a lot going into this season.
Great. All right. So Amanda and Liesl, I want to ask you guys to talk a little bit about culture and team culture, and what values do you think help to define Henderson cross country and track?
For the girls team, we do a lot together outside of running because you only get to know the people that you run with mostly and the people who you work out with. So over the summer and into the season, the pasta dinners are a big thing, and you really get to know everybody. JV and varsity can be together, and we have pool parties and stuff. So also that sense of community is really prevalent at our school, and we're always pushing each other. If we run past each other during workouts, we're always cheering each other on. And it's really good to know that you have all these other girls that have your back too, and are going through as much pain as you are. And even though you don't get to run with them every day, it's really nice to know that you have a support system for every race.
We have a family mindset almost. I feel everyone's close. Everyone has their problems with some people, but we can get over that, kind of like a family. I feel a lot of teams just don't have that. They have the friendships, but we have the family.
I would say just within our school and within all of our sports teams, a lot of people are just high achieving. So really just wanting the best for yourself. And I know running in particular for the team that we have, people just want to put in the work to just see that success, because running is one of those sports where you get out of it what you put in. So we all are just united in the fact that we want to succeed.
I definitely think that Henderson has always been one of the top running schools like in our community and even in the state. A lot of that due to Mr. Kelly's great success as a coach. And so there's definitely like, oh, Henderson, like they're going to be one of the top teams in the state. So that definitely, there's that expectation there that we're supposed to perform well, and we want to hold up that all those great names that have come before us and continue on the great community and super big community of running that we have at our school.
Yeah, outside of our gym, walking through the Hall of Fame hallway, most of the pictures on the wall are of runners, and it's really like motivating to be like, oh, if we do this, we could be the next picture on the wall and add to the track Hall of Fame. And it's like, yeah.
Definitely. It's pretty cool. I think you guys have that and I think it's even at the Henderson Invite, you do your Hall of Fame inductions for track and field and for cross country, and up at the track you have that Wall of Fame, which is kind of a pretty cool thing, and something that I think, hopefully each of you are look to and say, hey, we want to make that Hall of Fame one day, either winning a state title or kind of doing something really successful. The next thing that I want to just discuss before we kind of start to close out is maybe you can share with us just a story or two about kind of your team, what makes your team, unique, or maybe you want to share something about how you train together or so, anything like that. I want to open this up to allow you to kind of offer any story or anything that you want to talk about. And if we don't have one, that's fine. We'll move on. But we'll kind of open that up if anybody wants to share something that they thought was really cool.
One of my favorite parts about our team is our bus rides home from meets. We have had some amazing karaoke jam sessions on over 2 hours long on the way home from a meet. Like, you think after a meet you're all tired and drained and everyone just wants to sleep, but most people will sing their hearts out the entire way home. Districts last year, our bus driver joined in and he was having a great time too, and it's just so much fun. The whole team comes together, and whether you had a bad race or a good race, that will always make you feel better.
Absolutely. Amanda, what's your favorite song to sing on the bus?
Probably Country Roads is like a good starter, and then whatever comes on, I'll usually sing.
Yeah, you have to have a good one to kick it off, though. Country Roads is definitely one that everybody can sing along to, knows the words.
Yeah, the boys love that one.
All right, so we usually close up now with a 3, 2, 1. And so I'm going to ask each of you to share 3 high school running memories that you have that stick out in your mind, that either, hey, this was a great moment for me or my team, or anything like that. 2 regrets that you have about running, about the season, about whatnot. And then 1 piece of advice that you would give to an incoming freshman girl about running cross country or track, and to help them maybe get a little bit of a head start. Why don't we start out with Caroline?
Yeah, so for my memories, one of my favorite memories of this cross country season was when one of our sprinters, she joined cross country and she actually won Carlisle. and the JV race. And that was just so much fun. We were all there cheering her on. It was just such a blast. We do a camp out in the summer, and this was my first year doing that. And it was so much fun with the teams, having that night out just in the yard. And I would say another important memory was after states. We didn't finish as high as we wanted to. And I would say that was the turning point where we all just set these high goals for ourselves and wanting to achieve more. A piece of advice that I would give, I would say that one quote that sticks out to me is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So always putting in your best effort, because even if it doesn't come the next race that you do, you don't get the time you want, it will come. So just being patient for that success.
That's great. Do you have any regrets, Carolyn?
I would say not joining running sooner, definitely a regret. And ever just doubting my abilities, struggling with some confidence. I'd say that I'm at a good mindset right now, but in the past I've struggled with confidence in my own abilities and just holding myself back. So that was definitely one of my regrets.
Great. Liesl, let's go to you.
One of my favorite memories from the season was, so at regionals, we were in the same hotel as the boys team, and like we're all pretty close with them. And they were running not the championship race because they kind of had a rough districts. And so Mr. Kelly thought it'd be better if they ran in like the JV regionals race, and they could probably win it. And he was trying to get Gavin to get first place. And the night before, they were all, well, not all of them, but most of them were like in the pool and messing around and just having a good time because they were like, oh, we have nothing to lose. And Mr. Kelly did not like that. And so he was like, you're running for your future to run at Yale. And the next day they went out and they won that JV race, and Gavin did get first. And I just thought it was so funny how when they had like something on the line, they really pushed themselves, and it was just a great race.
That's a classic Coach Kelly story too, I think.
Yeah.
How about regrets, Liesl?
Something I regret is probably not pushing myself as hard as I could have at the state meet. You know, when you finish a race and you're like, oh, I could have gone faster. That's how I kind of felt, because at districts I got this really bad cramp on the last part, and I kind of felt like I was going to get that again, and I really didn't want that. So I kind of just like chilled like the pace a little bit more than I should have, and I was just really mad at myself after that for not like going as fast as I could have. And a piece of advice I would give to a freshman is you should definitely keep doing the sport all 4 years, because you'll meet different people along the way. Even if you don't like it your first year, it gives you so much like mental strength to do other things, like take a test. When I'm taking a test, I'm like, this isn't as hard as a race. You can do it. It really like puts in perspective almost everything else you do in your life. So just keep going.
That's great advice. Amanda, what are some memories that you have?
Indoor states this year, we got like the honeymoon suite. We had a heart-shaped tub, so we took ice baths in it, and that was pretty fun because we got some people that don't usually take ice baths to get in, and they screamed like a lot. And Yale freshman year, that was like the first race that I realized I kind of liked running. So that was like a turning point. And then at cross country states, we went to the movies and watched the best movie ever. It's called Arctic Dogs. And no one else liked it, but I thought it was great. And like, it was so much fun. Like we had the movie theater to ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. How about regrets, Amanda?
Regrets? I regret not doing cross country freshman year because I did field hockey and I wasn't really good at field hockey. So it was kind of a little waste, but and then like kind of getting in my head before races, like so I feel like I like stop myself from reaching my full potential. And then advice, I would say not every race is going to go like the best, but that's okay. That's part of the process. You just have to like keep your head up and keep going.
Yeah, the mental side of running is maybe even the hardest part of it, right? Mm-hmm. We've all had situations where we struggled in races and you know, maybe gave up a little earlier than we should have. So that's something that I think as you develop and grow as a runner, you're constantly trying to work and improve and try to make a stronger part of your running. So that's one that I think everybody struggles with. All right, Jenna, how about you?
For memories, NXN both years is definitely my favorite memory of each season because that's just such an amazing experience. The cross-country campouts are also almost always so much fun. Highlight of the cross-country season, getting to meet all the freshmen. Everyone's become so much closer in one night. And then state's trip is, again, amazing. So much fun to spend time with the team, go out to breakfast, go to the movies, even if the movie's not very good. It's really fun to be there with the team. Regrets I regret probably at regionals, everyone always is having so much fun because most people are just like, this is just my final race. Like, it doesn't matter too much, but I'm always very stressed out for that because I really want to make it to nationals. So I just regret not being as involved with the team, kind of being too caught up with myself and my nerves instead of enjoying the team. And then also outdoor or cross-country states this year, I feel like I gave up a little too early and didn't push myself as hard as I should have. And the piece of advice I have is to just do your best, but don't put so much pressure on yourself that you're not enjoying yourself, because there's no point in doing this sport if you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah, you got to love it. You've got to love it to work as hard as runners do day in and day out. Girls, looking to the future here, and we'll kind of close out with this. Do you think that you'll have an opportunity to run a fast track race this summer, early summer? Do you think that's going to happen? Or do you think that we're going to be just running some virtual time trials and then going right into cross country?
I am holding out hope and staying very positive that we're going to be back sooner than we think. And I think we're going to get in at least one race in the summer that we can all come together and run a fast time at.
Mm-hmm. Like the Warner Mile, I think that's in the summer. So
right, yeah, I know a couple of our girls are looking towards that to run that maybe as an opportunity. We'll close out there. Thanks again for being on a Run on Culture podcast with us, and looking forward to watching everyone compete next fall and have a lot of success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Burns.